Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join me today because we have a great tutorial for all of you small business owners, my favorite type of people, right? This time we're talking about how to prepare and package up your vinyl decals for selling. All right guys, so let's talk about what we have going on here. Now, this is the decal that we've cut, just a basic vinyl decal. This is our transfer tape. All right, so we're gonna set that off to the side. We haven't done anything with that yet. Then we have, these are some print and cut thank you stickers that we made. Of course, we have a video on making stickers if you haven't done that yet. We have this really cute, it's a decal application instructions. And then of course we have some business cards. And then this is a clear 6x6 bag. Okay, so I think they call them self-sealing bags, all right, where you just remove this part for the adhesive. And of course you can get these in all different sizes. I get them really cheap from Amazon. Of course, it's a situation where the more you buy, the cheaper they are. So just depends on how many decals you plan on selling. And then this is just a straight edge paper trimmer. Oh, and last but not least, this is a piece of chipboard. Now, I use chipboard because it's very nice, very sturdy. You can also use heavy cardstock, especially if this isn't something that you're putting in the mail, okay? So this is what I have. Let's go ahead and take care of our decal first. Now, if you've noticed, this is not a decal that has been cut very cleanly all the way around, which is okay because we're gonna take care of that. And then this same thing with my transfer tape. This isn't even very clean transfer tape. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel back on my transfer tape. And I'm gonna go ahead and line it up here on my table. All right, then I'm gonna slide my decal. I'm gonna butt it all the way up there. And then I'm gonna take my squeegee. Now I got these from Amazon. These have the little felt tip. That way it doesn't catch your vinyl as much. But I'm just gonna go ahead and start pressing this down. And then I'm going to use my scraper. And this is gonna make sure that I get my transfer tape on there without any wrinkles and bubbles, all right? I mean, the bubbles aren't that big of a deal, but you really want this to look like a professional application job. Obviously, if you are selling or giving these, you know, even if it's just a matter that appearance is important for gift items, that's okay. But you just wanna smooth this down, and of course you need some scissors. Now, this is especially helpful if you buy transfer tape on the roll, okay? Then you can just trim it right off. All right, so like I said, go ahead and work with your squeegee. Make sure it is nice and burnished. And then the first thing that you want to do, always do this before you give out a decal, is you want to pre-peel it. You want to make sure that when they receive it, that this decal is going to peel like it's supposed to. See, now this one, we're having a little bit of problems. I'm going to turn it over and use the harder side of my scraper. And sometimes too, you can scrape it from the back. But it's very important when your customer receives this that they do not have a hard time getting your decal on your transfer tape. But usually once you get it on there, once you get the decal started, then you won't have to worry about this. So that's why I go ahead and pre-peel all my decals. I check them all. Now this is a medium tack transfer tape. That's why it's not super clean peeling it up like this, but I like to use it because it may depend on what your customer is putting it on, how easily they need this transfer tape to remove itself from the vinyl. So what that means is if they're so I'm going to peel from one side, smooth it down, and I'm gonna start on the other. But basically what it means is that way if they're putting it on a surface that, you know, maybe it's not gonna go on a car or it's not gonna go on a smooth tumbler or something like that, if you use a medium tack transfer tape, then they'll have an easier time removing it, you know, on whatever they're applying it to. All right, so once we get it pre-peeled, all right, very important, like I said, we are going to trim the edges. Now, this has a ruler up here. And what I want to do is I want to trim this down and I want it to be straight. So let's start with the bottom. I like this trimmer because it has a wire that runs through the middle. That way I can really gauge if this is going on straight or not. Go ahead and trim it. Now we have one straight edge. So when we flip it over, we can use the guide along the top to make sure that this is going to be straight also. And that's how we're going to end up with a square decal. You're just going to repeat this all the way around. And I try to trim pretty close to my decal. It does not have to be this close, but I just feel like it looks clean when you don't have a lot of extra white space around it. There we go. So that is our completed decal. Now let's talk about packaging. That is where this bag comes into play, and your stickers and the chipboard. We're going to use our paper trimmer. I put it away a little prematurely there. That's all right. You guys didn't notice, right? I'm going to pull this back out. So let's talk about the bag real quick. This bag is 6 by 6. What that means is I need to cut a piece of chipboard that's a little bit smaller than that. All right. So we're going to use our ruler, and I'm going to cut this at 5, and I guess that's 5.875. Does that make sense? And I'll just cut it across. Now you can save this, all right? And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Now also, we talked about being able to use cardstock. Another cool thing that you can do if you don't like the economy look of using the chipboard is you can actually, especially if you used to be a scrapbooker or a card maker and you have a collection of pattern cardstock, that would look really cute in there. So, but basically, this is our decal now. So the backboard is just to stabilize our decal. Does that make sense? If you want to, you can actually cut 2 pieces and sandwich it, and that provides extra stability, especially if you're going to mail it, but this works well for me. What I want to do is I want to locate, so this is the front of the bag. The one that has the slice is the back of the bag because that's where this is going to fold over. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to make sure I put it in the front. There we go, right? Now I could actually trim my chipboard down to match my decal if I wanted to, completely up to you. You can also, take a little sticker and tape it up in the corner. There's a lot of different presentation things that you can do with setting your decal up, but I like it just like this. I want to make it easy. And then what I'm going to do is on the back, I'm going to slide in my business cards. And I just have a business card, and then this is a little card that I have with a little QR code, and I'm gonna slide in my instructions. Okay, so there we go. So they're right there, so it doesn't block what my decal looks like, but they're obviously there whenever my customer gets their item. And some people will even include, because not this scraper in particular, but a lot of times you can get little scrapers very inexpensively. Some people will even include that. I personally do not, but it is something you can do. Now, another tip, I like to fold this over and make it straight. And then while I hold it down with one hand, I'm gonna reach over and start pulling off that strip. That way I can smooth it back down and know that I'm gonna have this straight across. So a nice smooth closure, again, just really adds to that finished look. So decal in the front, information in the back. Now to add the finishing touch. Now, like I said, these were a print and cut. They're really cute, I really like them a lot. But guys, again, this is going to be a quantity item. If you sell a lot of decals, then you're better off not doing these as a print and cut, because you can get these printed, you can have stickers printed in bulk for you, and then you're not purchasing the sticker paper and wasting your ink. So I like to put this over the enclosure, but you're free to put it anywhere you want. You could even put it in front where it doesn't block your decal, just wherever you want to do it. Now this is a 3-inch circle. Let's show some differences. This is a 4-inch circle, 3-inch circle, 2.5-inch circle. Now I just filled up my sheet here, and that's why I experimented with the different sizes, but this one in particular is meant for my decals. So I'm just gonna smooth this on. That way, whenever they open it, they see right off the bat a little thank you message. All right. Now, also, maybe not so much for just one decal, but sometimes too, if you're already printing your own stickers, or you are having stickers printed for you, you can have a couple stickers made up with maybe your shop information, or you can send a magnet or something like that. Don't be afraid to send swag with your items. Now, the cost of a decal usually prohibits including too many extras, especially because if you're selling them and you have to include the cost of the chipboard and the cost of the printable and the cost of the sticker, you know, and then if we're talking about shipping it, then you may want to grab one of these rigid mailers and put it in. So completely up to you. Really, really useful to have those, but that's why we put the chipboard in there. So if you want to send this in a regular envelope, typically speaking, you're going to be okay for just a decal. So, all right, guys, well, that is how I package my decals for sale. And of course, you know, like I said, feel free to embellish how you want. Feel free to dress them up. Maybe, like I said, include some of those patterns. You just really want to focus on making this a really cute item whenever they receive it, whether you send it in the mail or whether you hand them out, or even whether you sell them, you know, maybe at a resale booth or something like that. So you definitely want to be able to give your customer that wow factor, and that is what is going to keep them coming back for more. As long as you're offering a quality decal, which we are. We put on the transfer tape, made sure it worked, so they should have a pretty good experience. We're giving them the instructions for success. We're giving them our business cards so they know how to find us again. And guys, overall, this should really leave your customer with the warm and fuzzies so that they come back to you again. So guys, how did you feel? All right. I really, really love sharing these tips and tricks with you guys. And, you know, I keep saying this is for small business owners, but this could be for gift giving, handing them out to friends, maybe promotional items, you know, whatever your little heart desires. But this is how you're going to dress up your decals to really make them look super cute, super presentable. And I really like that if you're going to mail them or hand them out, it keeps your decals nice and sturdy. That way they do not get damaged, you know, in transit. So hopefully you guys learned a few things today. And, you know, if you learned something, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below. And of course, guys, I always appreciate, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share with a crafty friend. I love all the support that you show for us here. Keep our little channel going so we can keep bringing you these videos in the future. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. But guys, I do really appreciate it. And we'll see you again next time.